Good day, my dear students. I love you very, very much. And I am back to present another lesson for you, my dears. And I want you to know something before I go into the lesson, that I miss you very, very much, and I love you a lot. I hope you have the same feeling for me, and you are enjoying your life. And as you know, we are getting nearer and nearer to summer, and you will have a lot of fun doing different activities, going on vacation and going to places, hanging out with friends and families and all that kind of stuff. I hope in general you're enjoying your time. My dears, I have come back to present the last section of Unit 12 for you, my dears, which is the writing section. Okay? Which is the writing section on page 120 in your class book. My dears, we have what here? Here we learn how to write an opinion essay. But before I, go into the subject, first I would like to tell you what essay is. You may ask the question, okay, what is an essay? Essay is just like a paragraph, but it is more than one paragraph. 2 or 3 paragraphs together, we call them essay. Okay? Opinion essay is an essay about your opinion. So here you talk about your opinion about a subject. For example, the subject is tourism or smoking or school or anything you want. I want you to choose the subject, and I will tell you in a minute how to arrange the parts of your essay and how to talk about that subject in detail in your essay. Okay? We can write an opinion essay to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of something. We divide the essay into 4 paragraphs. So this is important. An essay, okay, is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 paragraphs. Okay. The first paragraph here, as you can say, that this essay is about tourism. Tourism is when you go to another country or another place, okay, on vacation. So that means you are a tourist. You are touring in that place to see different sites, sightseeing and exploring, very interesting and cultural, sites in that country. Okay, you are visiting. In the first paragraph, you do what? You introduce it. So you write the introduction. Okay, in the first paragraph, you have to talk a little bit about tourism. Okay, for example, give some information about tourism. When you come to the second paragraph, this is important. You talk about the advantages of tourism. Advantage meaning good point. What are or how many good points does tourism have? How many good points does it have? You may want to talk about 4 points or 5 points. You can write it here in detail. The third paragraph is for disadvantages of tourism. So here you talk about the bad points of tourism. Okay, the disadvantage of tourism, the bad points of tourism. In the last paragraph here, so your job is to write a conclusion. So I want you to write your opinion here. Okay, you do not write your opinion in the first, second or third paragraph. No, in the last paragraph you write your opinion. For example, you say, in my opinion, it is always important for tourists to respect, culture, to respect local culture, to respect people's privacy. Okay, so you say your opinion about the subject in the last paragraph, in the conclusion. Okay, so there you go. Now you know how to write an opinion essay. Okay, let me read this sample for you so you understand better. So you have an example before you. Tourism. Every year millions of people travel around the world to visit the islands in the Caribbean Sea. But is it a good thing? My dears, I want you, when you are writing your opinion essay, I want you to write down this sentence after the introduction. After the introduction, I want you to write this sentence, because this sentence is important, because it tells your reader that you are talking about advantage and disadvantage. Okay? Through this sentence. Okay? This sentence helps your reader to understand that you are talking about advantage and disadvantage of something and you want to give your opinion. Okay, this sentence is important. But is it a good thing? in the advantage paragraph, we say what? There are some very good points about tourism in the Caribbean islands. Firstly, it is good for people to see the culture and history of other places. Point number one. Point number two. Secondly, tourists spend money in hotels and restaurants and shops. This is good for local people. Thirdly, third point, tourism often often means that better roads and airports are built, and which is also good for local people from that place. In the disadvantage paragraph, we talk about what? However, not everything about tourism in the Caribbean islands is good. Okay, so now we come to the bad points. Firstly, tourists can make peaceful places busy and noisy because there are more people, cars and planes than before. So this makes, the place noisy. Secondly, tourism can destroy wildlife because hotels are sometimes built on their natural habitat. Okay, when they build hotels, sometimes it is built, in nature. So this destroys the wildlife. This destroys the place which, many animals can live. Finally, many foreign businesses own the hotels, shops and restaurants. So sometimes big companies get all the money and not local people. Sometimes foreign businesses, okay, people from outside, that country own the hotels and shops and restaurants. So this means that the money, all the money that these places make, goes back to the big company. Okay, the big company gets, all the money, and the local people from that place don't get as much money as, the big companies. And the final part of your opinion essay, this is the conclusion. It seems to me that although tourism can be good for islands in the Caribbean, it can have bad sides too. In my opinion, so this is where you talk about your opinion, it is always important for tourists to respect the local culture. So here you talk about your opinion about tourism, okay? Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? So you have to, take one side, okay? Are you with the good points or the bad points are you with or against tourism, for example? Okay, and I have prepared a map for you, my dears. If you, look at this map, it shows what? This is how you write your opinion essay. First, you write down the name of the topic, the topic you want to talk about. Then you come to the introduction. In the introduction, you introduce your topic. You talk a little bit about the topic. For example, you want to talk about smoking. Okay, here you talk a little bit about smoking. What is smoking? Okay, and why is it, for example, bad or good for people? And in the last sentence, you say, but is it a good thing? Okay, this sentence. You have to repeat this sentence here. Then you come here to talk about the advantages of, for example, smoking. Does it have any advantage? After the advantage, you explain the disadvantages of the bad points of smoking. 2 or 3 points, okay, you can talk about. In the conclusion, this is where you, this is where you talk about your opinion. Okay, you write your opinion here. In the conclusion. In the conclusion, are you, with smoking or are you against smoking? Okay, which you have to say, why. Okay, and this is a map. Okay, I hope you, benefit from this map. This helps you to organize your essay, okay, neatly and orderly, without mixing or confusing any information. And in exercise 3. Okay, my dears, now we come to exercise 3. We have 2 questions here. Where do tourists often spend money? Where? So you can get that information from the text. How does tourism hurt wildlife? Okay, you can also find the answer of this one as well in the paragraph. And for exercise 4, you have what? We have sentences coming from the text, okay? And your job is to write the number of the paragraph, okay, which the sentence comes from. For example, the first one is done. Look at number 2. In my opinion, people should respect the environment. So this comes from the 4th paragraph. In my opinion. Okay. And you have number 3, 4, 5, and 6, all for yourselves. Okay. You can find out the number of the paragraph which these sentences, come from. My dears, now we come to the review of Unit 12. As you know, as usual, in the end of each unit we have a section. A section here, we call it the review. Here there are a mixture of questions, all coming from Unit 12. And you have to, if you understood Unit 12, if you studied Unit 12, perfectly, completely, so then you will be able to answer these questions without any problem. Look at number 1. This is a word, okay? It's an adjective. Very comfortable and full of beautiful things. What is the word? So luxurious. Luxurious is the word because we studied that before. Okay, if you go back to the Unit 12, the other sections, the earlier sections of Unit 12, you can find this one. I will leave number 2, 3, or 4 for you guys. Look at number 5. Complete the sentence. I wish I had a new computer. See, this is how you do it. Complete it. Look at number 8. Having a hot taste. It's an adjective. What is the word? When something, a food especially, has a hot taste, so we say that it is spicy. It is spicy. And look at number 6. Circle the correct answer. You don't like fish, like you or do you? So you say do you, because this is tag question, and we studied tag question. And I will leave the other ones for you to figure out, and it needs understanding. So you have to really think about the questions, then you can answer them. In the second section of the review, we have a song. Okay, as usual. In the end, we have a song. You can listen to the song and order the lines. Okay, for example, which sentence does the singer say first? Which sentence comes second, third, or fourth? Okay, this is as well for you. Okay, this isn't for me. Okay, and you have to listen to the song, and then you can order the sentences. My dears, and I have something for you. My dears, now I want you to open your workbook. This is important. For our writing section, okay, we always, as usual, in every single unit of this book, we have been doing, okay, the writing section in the workbook as well, because this is important. This is a task for you to train you to write better, to improve your writing. My dears, here we have what? We again need the map I made you. Okay, we have what? Here it says in the writing section, we have this box. Okay, so in this box you can write your opinion essay. But first you have to pick a topic. You have to pick a topic, and also in that topic you have to separate advantages, meaning good points, and disadvantages of that topic. I am not saying that I am not selecting the topic, okay? I am saying you're free to choose any topic you wish. For example, you want to talk about TV or smoking or video games or internet or any topic you would like to write about. And after choosing the topic, you come to writing your opinion essay. First, you write down the introduction, as you can see, in your map. Then the good points, the advantages, as you can see in the map. Then the disadvantages, as I explained. Then finally the conclusion, as you can see in the map. In the conclusion, you talk about your opinion about that topic. For example, you would like to talk about TV. Okay? You want to talk about TV. This is your topic. Try to think of good points of TV and also bad points of TV. Then in the conclusion, write down your opinion. Okay, mention your opinion. What's your opinion? Okay, are you with using TV or are you against using TV? There you go, my dears. This is, your task. This is your homework for the writing section. Do not forget this, and make sure you do it, completely, and send back the your homeworks and the results, and I will check them. Okay, thank you very much, my dears. I hope you have no problem, And after this, we have what? Now we are finished with unit 12, but there is something here, you know, I think it's like an extra practice. Okay, this is like an extra practice to help you to practice your English, practice your listening and speaking, and learn some new phrases to use in your speaking, and when people use it, to understand it. Here we have what? Everyday English, the English that people use every single day. Okay, so you can also listen to these dialogues, to these conversations, listen and read them at the same time. I will read them to you, and then you can see these sentences in yellow. They are painted in yellow. Okay, so those sentences are the new phrases for you to learn. Where would you go if you could go anywhere in the world? The boy is asking the girl. I would like to visit Disney World. Disney World is like a place. It's like a place where, you know, people go to, you know, relax their minds, like a park, a very huge park, like Chaviland in the United States. What about you? Where would you most like to go on holiday? Okay, well, there's an article here about space tourism. I have always wanted to go to space. So that the girl is saying, sorry, the boy is saying that he would like to go to the space. The girl is asking, it looks amazing. How much does it cost? The boy, it is too expensive. If only I was a millionaire. If only I was a millionaire. And these are the new phrases. Where would you go if you could go anywhere in the world? When you want to talk about your dreams, talk about something you wish you hope to do, okay, you use these phrases. Where would you go if you could go anywhere in the world? I would like to visit, you know, Spain. What's your dream holiday? Where would you like to go to holiday? My dream holiday is, for example, Britain. Okay, you may say Europe, any country in Europe. Where would you most like to go on holiday? This is another way of asking the same question. Okay, you can pick any place. In the second section, my dears, we have a listening practice. So this is important. Listen to the speech about this person. Okay, so the speaker talks about this person, and then you have to true and false the sentences. For example, number 1 is false. Number 2, he would love to be an astronaut one day. Is this true or false? So if you have to, you can listen to the track 2 or 3 or 4 times. I will leave this to you, but I will help you in the speaking. I am going to ask the questions, and you at home listening to this video and watching this video, provide me with answers and write down your answers. You can choose these options as well. Let's go. Where would you go if you could go anywhere in the world? Answer. Where would you most like to go on holiday? Your answer. What's your dream space holiday? You can choose. There you go. You can listen to my questions and you can answer, and this is how you practice. Listen again and again to the questions, then answer again to the questions. There you go, my dears. This is extra practice just to help you to better your English. Now, my dears, I want you to we are done with unit 12 and with this as well, but I want you to go back to a story we had. I didn't skip it. I know I gave you that story, as a homework. I told you to read it, but now I want you to listen to me reading it once myself, so you know how to pronounce the words and you understand the story. And also, I will give you questions to answer about the story. The story is on... Okay, my dears, now I want you to go to page 94, and we have a very interesting and fascinating story. This is a non-fiction story, meaning this is not something imaginary. Okay, this happened actually. In history, we have a story like this. And this is the Atlantis, the lost city. Okay, this is a city, okay, which got lost suddenly, disappeared, and you know, it is in the middle of the sea. Let's go through the story. I will read the story slowly so you guys know how to read and pronounce the words. And after the story, I will give you homework. You know, I will give you questions to so you can go and you know, find answers for those questions. Okay, and now I want you to listen carefully as I read the story. The story of Atlantis is one of the oldest and most interesting mysteries in the world. Mystery is something that okay, it is unknown to you. Okay, you don't know it. Okay, you think about it, you know, as much as you can, but still you don't know it. You don't know why that happened. That's a mystery. Many people have written books about it and made films too. So how did the story begin? Well, more than 2,000 years ago, a famous Greek writer called Plato wrote a story about a beautiful island in the Atlantic Ocean. You guys know Atlantic Ocean, okay? It's a very huge ocean called Atlantic. He called it the island of Atlantis. The island of Atlantis. This was the name of the story. The island of Atlantis. Plato described the people and the island in a lot of detail. He said that the people were very rich and successful. People from the, you know, island. He said that there were talented engineers and architects who built fantastic palaces, houses, harbors and tunnels all over the island. Okay, they built the capital city on a hill, and this was surrounded by 5 rings of water and land, as you can see in the picture. 5 rings of water and land. This is the capital. Okay, and all around the city were fields and mountains. Fields meaning in a field, okay, there's a lot of grass and soil. You can plant things. People you know, use it to plant and do farming, okay, cultivating the you know, field, the ground. The people were very good at farming. They kept animals in their fields and grew many different things, so there was always lots of food on the island. They grew the food themselves. There was also lots of fresh water, and the farmers built a system for watering their fields. They built a system to water their fields. The richest people on the island lived in the highest mountains. Plato described the amazing buildings they lived in. The rich people lived in. He said that there were beautiful fountains with hot and cold water. Fountain is, you know, my dears, it is like a pool, and in this pool water comes out. So hot and cold water. Gold statue, it is made of stone or wood, so this was made of gold. Stone walls covered in precious metals and jewels. In the story of Atlantis, Plato described how clever and peaceful the people were. They loved art and beautiful things, and they lived happily and successfully together. He said that they were friendly with their neighbors on the different islands and never went to war. But then he described how they changed. As they grew richer, the people of Atlantis became selfish and greedy. Okay, selfish that you want everything for yourself. Greedy, you don't want anyone else to have, you know, anything. You want everything for yourself. They started to argue and fight with each other and the people from the other islands. Then one day something terrible happened. There was a huge earthquake, and great waves covered the island of Atlantis until it disappeared under the sea. In the story, Plato said that this was a punishment because the people had become so bad. For over 2,000 years, everyone thought the island of Atlantis was just a fantastic story, something fantasy, okay, something only imaginary. And then in the late 1800s, people started to think differently. It all started with an American man named Donnelly. He was a politician and writer, and he became very interested in the story of Atlantis. he started to think that Plato had described a real place and a real tragic event. Okay, so Donnelly, so now we have the story of Donnelly. Okay, my dears, Donnelly studied the history of floods and natural disasters from Egypt to Mexico. So he studied, these natural disasters. He studied things that happened thousands of years ago. Then he wrote a book and explained his ideas. He thought the story was about a real natural disaster. Perhaps there was a hurricane or an earthquake in the Atlantic Ocean near the island at this time. Perhaps it destroyed the island of Atlantis and all its people. Donnelly's book was very popular. More and more people started to think that the island of Atlantis was a real place. They started to have different ideas about where it might be and where had happened, what had happened to it. Then in the late 1960s, there was a new idea. A Greek historian discovered the ruins of an ancient city on the Greek island of Thera, which is also called Santorini. This Greek island is famous for its volcano. When the historian and his team examined the ruins of the ancient city, they found streets, buildings, pottery, things made of soil, colorful wall paintings. All of these things were amazing, and they decided that a very successful group of people had once lived here. They thought perhaps these people were from Minoan civilization. The Minoans were an ancient people that lived around 4,000 years ago on the islands in the Mediterranean. So this were people like, see, when you say Kurdish, American, British, so they were called Minoans. They lived around 4,000 years ago. The historian and his team also decided that the ancient city on the island had been destroyed and buried by a volcanic eruption. You have volcanoes, erupting. So was Thera the island that Plato had described in his book? Was Thera the island of Atlantis? These two questions. Not everyone believes that the ruins on the island of Thera are the ruins of Atlantis. Many people think the ruined island lies far beneath the sea in a different part of the world. Some people say that it is near the Andes mountain. Some people think that the ruins of Atlantis, it is near the Andes mountain in Bolivia. It's a country in South America. Others say that it is close to Florida in the US. Other people think it was lost somewhere in the Central America, the China Sea or Africa. Of course, there are many more people that believe Atlantis is just a story. They say it was just a part of Plato's imagination. Whatever you think, the story of Atlantis is a great story and a great mystery up until the present day. So it is a very great mystery. Now you have, very important and interesting, fascinating information about this long lost city, and you can do these questions and provide answers for these questions. My dears, these are your homework. For activity 3, you have questions I want you to answer, but I want the answers written on a piece of paper. I want you to write your answers. Who wrote about the island of Atlantis? Who? Number 1. Number 2, what were the people on the island like at first? Number 3, in the story, what happened to the island? Number 4, what did they find on Thera in the 1960s? What did they find on this island? And for the discussion, do you think the island of Atlantis is real or just a story? Why? I want your opinion. Okay, I want you to write your opinion here. Do you enjoy reading about mysteries? Why or why not? Okay. Do you know about any other mysteries? What are they? I want your answers written on a piece of paper. Okay, there you go, my dears. Now, I hope you enjoyed the story. You can listen again and again, and also with the audio, and you can read it. I'm sure you can find a lot of interesting information, and it also helps you to improve your listening and reading and as well. My dears, on the next page, we have another story. Okay, but this one is fiction. This one is imaginary. Okay, I want you to read this. You can read this. You can just do what I just did. Okay, read it 2 or 3 or 4 times to understand it completely. Then come and answer these questions. You can do this as an extra practice for yourselves. Okay, there you go, my dears. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Thank you very much for being great, sweet, and amazing. You have always been, and I love you very, very much. I want to say that I miss you, all of you, and thank you very much for listening and watching. And I hope to see all of you in the peak of success. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.